She thought she was simply comforting a stranger's child, until the lullaby unlocked a truth that would bring tears, shock, and a reunion no one saw coming. It was a quiet Tuesday morning at Sandy's Diner, a small roadside cafe just outside Lexington, Kentucky. The booths were half full, the coffee pot half warm, and soft country music hummed through the dusty speakers. Linda Harper, 62, had worked there for over 30 years. She didn't need name tags. Everyone knew her by heart. Hair pulled back in a bun, apron tied just right, and eyes that carried both kindness and a weight only life could place. That day, she noticed a young woman walk in with a little boy, maybe 3, maybe 4, restless and teary-eyed. The mother looked tired, overwhelmed, maybe even frightened. She kept glancing at the door, checking her phone, then glancing back at the boy as he squirmed in the booth. Linda brought them menus, and the little boy began to cry softly, rubbing his eyes, pulling at his sleeves. The mother leaned in. "Shh, baby, please don't cry." Linda knelt down gently. "May I try something?" she asked. The mother nodded, unsure. And then, quietly, without thinking, Linda began to hum. "Hush now, darling, the moon's in the sky. Close those eyes and let dreams fly by." It was a lullaby, one she hadn't sung in decades. The little boy's crying slowed. He blinked up at her, as if the melody wrapped around him like a warm memory. Within seconds, his head rested on the table, fast asleep. The mother stared at Linda, stunned. "How did you—" But Linda didn't answer right away, because something about the boy's face, the curve of his chin, felt familiar. As the little boy slept peacefully, Linda stood up slowly, her hands trembling slightly. That lullaby, it wasn't just a song, it was her lullaby. One she used to sing to her daughter, Melissa, when she was small, word for word, note for note. But what hit Linda hardest wasn't just the song. It was the birthmark, a tiny crescent-shaped mark just below the boy's left ear. She'd seen it before, years ago, on Melissa's baby, the baby she never got to meet, the baby Melissa had after she ran away at 19. Linda turned to the young woman at the booth, her voice barely steady. "I'm sorry, miss. What's your son's name?" The woman hesitated. "Lucas." Linda felt her knees weaken. "And you said your name was?" The woman blinked. "Emily." Linda took a slow breath. "Is he yours by birth?" Emily hesitated again, looking down. He's my foster child. Just temporary. He's in transition right now. Came from a closed case out of Nashville." Nashville. That's where Melissa had last been seen. 5 years ago. Linda swallowed hard. "Do you know anything about his birth mother?" she asked carefully. Emily nodded, voice soft. "Just a name on a document they gave me when he arrived. I'm not supposed to share it, but—" She looked around and leaned in, trusting the woman who just calmed the child no one else could. "Melissa Harper." Linda dropped the coffee pot in her hand. Glass shattered, but no one noticed. Because in that moment, heart pounding, eyes wide, she knew the boy she just sang to sleep was her grandson. Emily rushed over. "Are you okay?" Linda nodded shakily, brushing the glass aside, but her voice trembled. I think I know him," she whispered. Emily looked confused. "Lucas?" Linda motioned towards the booth, where the boy still slept, cradled in her folded napkin like a blanket. "I think he's my grandson." The diner seemed to disappear around her. The clatter, the smell of bacon, the soft hum of country radio, it all faded as years of unanswered questions came crashing down. Emily sat across from her slowly, concerned but curious. How would you know that? Linda took a breath, then told her everything. About Melissa, the baby, how they argued the night she left home, angry, pregnant, and scared. How Linda waited by the phone for years, checked shelters, left notes, called hospitals, no leads. All I ever knew, Linda said, tears in her eyes, was that she had the baby and then vanished. Emily swallowed hard. Melissa passed away, last year. It wasn't in the report I read, but the caseworker told me quietly, off record. Linda's face crumbled. Her hands covered her mouth, trying to contain a sob. Not just grief. Guilt. I never got to say sorry, or goodbye. Emily reached across the table. But you still have a chance to say something. That night, Linda couldn't sleep. She sat at the kitchen table, staring at a photograph of Melissa as a little girl, laughing, holding a teddy bear, with that same crescent-shaped birthmark under her left ear. Just like Lucas. She didn't know what tomorrow held. But she did know this. I may not have raised my daughter the way she needed, but I'll be damned if I let her son grow up without knowing who he comes from. 1 week later, Linda stood nervously outside the county's child welfare office, her hands clutched around a small box. Inside it were memories. A photo of Melissa as a child, a stuffed lion that used to sit on her bed, and a worn cassette tape of Linda singing lullabies, recorded back when she was a young mom trying to soothe a colicky baby in the middle of the night. She wasn't sure what to expect, but Emily met her at the door with a smile. Come in. He's been asking for you all day. Inside the room, Lucas sat cross-legged on the carpet, coloring. When he looked up and saw her, he ran straight into her arms. You came back! Linda knelt down, tears slipping freely now. Of course I did, sweetheart. I'll always come back. Emily looked on as the social worker approached gently. We reviewed everything, she said softly. Given the match, your history, and the circumstances, we are recommending kinship placement. That means, if you're willing, Lucas can come home with you. Linda's hands shook. Yes, she whispered. I don't have much, but I have love, and he'll never have to wonder who he is again. 3 months later. Linda's house looked a little different. Fewer quiet evenings, more toys under the couch, more peanut butter fingerprints on the fridge. But every night, one thing stayed the same. She tucked Lucas in with a soft quilt, kissed his forehead, and sang the same lullaby. Hush now, darling. The moon's in the sky. Close those eyes and let dreams fly by. And Lucas? He always whispered the same thing before drifting off. Good night, Grandma. Because sometimes, a simple song in a diner doesn't just calm a child, it brings a family back together.